Hey there, it's been a while, huh? So long that some things have changed in my software to go live. I'm going to have to find my intro slide. Somehow it's been deleted. It took me a minute to remember how to do all this. I hope I've got it right. I think I can see that the sound is good. My cameras are up. I think we're set to go. I am motivated to do this practice. I'm going to do this and one other for some of my students who I will be taking a break from over the holidays. It's not our choice. We're just kind of forced into a situation where we can't be together. And of course, over the holidays, we get busy and some of us even travel. I have plenty on here that you can refer to, but this is just an updated, just a beginner-friendly little review practice for on and off the mat. So meet me on your mat. Another thing that's disappeared is my music. I don't know where the music went. I'll have to look into all of this. But I'm not real motivated to do that right now. I can teach without those things, right? So I have a couple of blankets, I have a strap, I have a couple of blocks. They're just there. I may pull them in since this is kind of a review for some of our principles and concepts that we kind of carry with us as we go through our practice, keeping ourselves comfortable and safe. Remembering in yoga, in Sanskrit, there are a couple of words that guide us through our practice, sukha and stiram. So the pose I'm sitting in right now is called sukhasana. So sukha means ease. This is supposed to be easy seated pose. For many people it isn't though. But sukha means ease, stiram means effort. So our practice should be a blend of effort and ease. It should feel like we're doing a little work, but it shouldn't feel uncomfortable, stressful, like you're straining. Remember, your breath is your best teacher. If you notice that you're holding your breath or your breath is getting very choppy, it means just take a deep breath back out of whatever you're trying to do. Take a break even, or just approach it from a different angle, a different situation. Perhaps you're pulling in a prop to use. Make the yoga practice fit you, not the other way around. Don't jam yourself into something. Find yourself a comfortable seat. Again, I'm in Sukhasana. You can always use a couple blankets or blocks to lift your hips a bit here if you need to. There are other options. Remembering that another option could be hero's pose. This can be tough on the knees if you can't flex the knees tightly like this. An option to help with that one can be stacking, and I'm going to turn my back so you can see what I do. Stacking a couple of blocks, and then I put those blocks between my ankles, and when I come back, my sits bones fit right there on the block. And again, if you have trouble really flexing the knees, if you have pain in the knees, that may or may not feel comfortable to you. Another option could be with legs out long. This is Dandasana. You can lift your hips here as well. I'm going to start in Sukhasana. And as with all of my yoga teachings, let's start with a little breath. Pranayama, that's the practice of the breath. Prana translates into life force energy, and life force energy rides on the breath of life. Bring your hands to a comfortable position, and your shoulders are stacked over your hips. And draw your chin back a bit, lining your ears roughly over your shoulders. Your chin will be pretty parallel with the floor, so not too far up, not looking too far down. And notice how this simple act of bringing yourself into alignment frees the breath. If we're sitting in these bad habits of being rounded and flexed and heads hanging forward, we can't breathe. So this simple awareness of how alignment Brings the body, the physical body, in a shape to receive the breath, receive that life force energy. Inhaling and exhaling. That's it. Just breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and out through the nostrils, if that works for your body. And resting the very tip of your tongue right behind your upper two front teeth. But broadening through the back of the throat, almost like you're yawning, that sense of the throat being very open. Shifting your awareness now to the sensation of the breath as it comes into the nostrils. And the sensation of the breath as it leaves through the nostrils. 3 more breaths here. Just breathe. One more for me. And if the eyes are closed, open them. Notice the energy now, perhaps a sense of calm, just by focusing on alignment and breath. Now we'll combine movement with breath. But I always try to keep a focus in every class that I teach. The focus of range of motion of the joint spaces. Reminding myself that that movement serves so many purposes within the joint space. Lubricating the joint, maintaining flexibility, that awareness, that connection between the mind and the body. Being able to connect and move in response to the signals that travel back and forth. So let's come to our hands and knees. We'll come to tabletop. And I've got 2 camera views up there. So from the front you can see that my arms are roughly shoulder distance apart. My wrists are under my shoulders. And from the side view you can see my knees are roughly hip distance apart and under the hips. Push the mat away and feel a little space between your shoulder blades here. Keep that space and just a gentle forward and back weight shift. Knees and wrists can be sensitive in people, especially beginners. Perhaps a blanket under your wrists or a blanket under the knees could help. Tying movement with breath, your inhale brings you forward. And your exhale brings you back. And then play with maybe moving a little faster, moving a little slower, taking the shift forward a little further, the shift back a little further. Be curious and play what feels best in your body. And then come back to neutral, come back to stillness, table, push the mat away. Cat-cow, I'm going to take your spine through all 6 directions. Right now we're in a neutral spine. The gaze is down towards the mat. All those natural curves are in the spine. As you inhale, let your belly drop down towards the mat. Your chest comes forward and your gaze goes up. This is called cow pose. It's a back bend. As you exhale, round the back like a cat. This is spinal flexion. And then your inhale takes you into that back bend again. We call that spinal extension. Keep going. Be very present in the sensations that you're feeling along the spine, but maybe in other places. Maybe your shoulders, your hips, your hands. Let's do 2 more each way. One more each way. And then come back to a neutral spine. Sit back in child's pose. First, before we do child's pose, let's come into happy puppy. So this is a modification of child's pose if that doesn't work for you. I want you to bring your forearms down to the mat and stack them so they're parallel with the front edge of the mat. Sorry, my microphone just fell off. I gotta stick that back on. So it kind of looks like a big equal sign here. My hips are up in the air and I'm gonna bring my head down. This is a resting pose. This is an option if coming into child's pose doesn't work, and I'll take you into child's pose again soon. And in this shape, you can feel a gentle decompression of the spine as the chest and the head are hanging down lower than the hips. Now come back to table and swing your legs around and find that first seated position we started in. I'm going to return to Sukhasana. You decide what seat you want. Take a moment to prop yourself if you need to. And we've taken the spine through extension and flexion. Now we're going to side bend, which is called lateral, which means side, flexion and extension. Inhale, reach your arms up. On an exhale, take your right hand down to the floor, reach long with the left arm, and then fold to the right. Keep your sits bones, those bones underneath you, anchored to the mat. Now take your breath, the in-breath, into the left side of the ribs. Open those ribs up with the inhale and feel them soften on the exhale. 2 more breaths here, side bending. Now on your inhale, swing both arms up and bring your hands home to the heart. Hands together in prayer pose. This is called Anjali Mudra. Inhale, swing your arms up. On an exhale, second side, left arm down. Before we fold, let's reach up with the right arm and then fold to the left. Keeping the sits bones anchored, breathing the inhale into the right ribs. 2 more breaths here, opening up those muscles in between the ribs for good deep breathing all day. Now inhale, swing the arms up and overhead, bring the hands together, hands home to the heart. Anjali Mudra. Take the hands to the knees, someplace where the hands feel comfortable. And let's review. We've gone through flexion, extension, and lateral flexion and extension. We need to twist. Those are the other 2 directions. If you're in this shape with me, just lean back and switch the cross of your legs just to keep things even. I want you to swing your arms overhead. As you exhale, take your left hand to the outside of your right knee and swing your right arm up, back, and down, sitting nice and tall on your inhale. As you exhale, turn and look over the right shoulder. And not the deepest twist you could take here, a nice gentle twist, maybe 70% of what you could do. Noticing the breath once again, feeling that twisting shape up and down the length of the spine, but even in the belly, in the ribs. Now take your gaze over your left shoulder and just release and swing the arms overhead again. We'll take the twist to the left. Take the right hand to the left knee, left arm swings around behind you. Sit tall on an inhale, exhale, twist. Look over the left shoulder. When you breathe, I want the belly to expand like a balloon. Your big inhale, the belly expands. As you exhale, draw your belly button towards your spine. Do 2 more breaths like that. And now take your gaze over your right shoulder, release the arms, swing the arms out and up, and exhale the hands home to the heart. Come back to table. If you're in this shape with me, you can just roll over the knees or swing the legs out. If you had props underneath, you take a moment to lay them off to the side. Find your table again, push the mat away. I'm going to reach back with my right leg. You may want to look at the side camera, coming onto the ball of my foot. So the foot's on the floor, but I'm pressing the mat away with my arms. I'm going to shift back, pressing through the heel, getting a nice stretch through the back of the leg. Breathe into that stretch. Now bend your knee just a wee bit. You'll feel that stretch. Shift a little more towards the middle, towards the Achilles tendon area of the foot. Now reach through the heel again. Now leading with your right heel, lift the leg until it's in line with the pelvis. So my heel is pointing up, my toes are pointing down. Now reach out with your left arm and bring your thumb up. Draw the navel towards the spine again. Reach in both directions. Feel the sensation of being pulled in both directions. And now as you exhale, bring your elbow towards your knee, knee towards elbow, round the back. Come to that cat back. Inhale, reach long. 2 more like this. Exhale, round the back, elbow to knee, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, 1 more time. Inhale, reach long, and come back to table. You have the option of coming into the happy puppy pose with the forearms on the mat, or maybe you keep your big toes together, walk your knees wide, glide your hips back to your heels. Bring your forehead to the mat or stack your fists. This is child's pose. And rest. With every exhale, a little more release of the muscles, a little more softening, a little more melting towards the earth. 2 more breaths. Reach long with the arms if they weren't already, and find your way back to table. Adjust those knees so they're under your hips. Push the mat away. Reach back with the left leg. Come onto the ball of the foot. Push through the heel. Get a stretch in the calf muscles. Now bend your knee just a tiny bit. And then press through the heel again. Leading with the heel, lift the left leg until it's in line with the pelvis. Reach out with the right arm, thumb up. Reach in both directions. Draw your navel back towards your spine as you exhale, round the back. Bring elbow to knee, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach long. 2 more. And then come back to table. Circle around here now. So we'll circle through the hips, circling through the knees, through the wrists, through the shoulders. Lots of joints get attention here. I go the other direction. And find table again. And we're going to start with the right leg. I'm going to swing my right leg out to the side so you can check out the camera. And I don't know, you can see my foot from the front angle. I've started on my big toe edge and I'm going to roll my foot down so I'm pressing into the little toe edge. I'm going to come up onto my fingertips, strengthening some of those support muscles to help with any sensitivity I might have in my wrists. Walk on fingertips until you can stand on your left knee. I'm going to take this right hand and take my palm so it faces up. Swing the left arm up and then over. Another side bend here. This is called gate pose. It's supposed to look like the latch on a gate. Another side bend, so breathe into those left ribs. Big inhale. And exhale all the way. Tuck your chin to your chest, lean back a little, look under that left arm towards the ceiling. 2 more breaths. Now swing both arms up by your ears. We're going to keep the legs just like they are, but bring the hands back down so the wrists are under the shoulders. I'm going to take my right hand back behind my right knee and pull the knees so my foot comes forward. Get your blocks. Bring your blocks under your hands. So I'm coming into a kneeling lunge here. I'm folded forward in this lunge. Adjust the height of the block so you have a little lift in the chest. And once you get that little bit of lift in the chest, I want you to reach through the crown of the head, reach through the tailbone, lengthen the spine. Now take your hands to your right knee, push down on that knee and rise up. You're in a kneeling lunge. You have roughly a right angle between the torso and the thigh and the shin. In this side, the other side, it's just the knee that's bent. So feel this is a little bit of a balance challenge. Inhale, swing your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. Bring the elbows out, push the hands together, drop your shoulders, reach long through the crown of the head. Now take the left elbow over here to the right knee, just a gentle little twist. But if you have a little more twist in you, you can really reach that elbow to the outside of the knees. Stack your hands, stack your elbows, and press down with the top hand, drawing your heart towards your thumbs. Feel the wobbles. Feel those stabilizer muscles working. And on your next inhale, unwind. Come back to your kneeling lunge. Lift your prayer. Lift your gaze. Take a little back bend here. Breathe. On your next exhale, hands back home to heart. Find those blocks again. I'm going to take the blocks to the highest setting. Straighten the right leg and come onto the right heel. It's fine if you need to help that foot out. Draw the toes towards the shin. The heel is glued to the mat. I want you to try to drag it towards you without letting it scoot on the mat. You'll engage lots of muscles in the legs. Think about that long spine again as you inhale. And as you exhale, fold forward any amount. Get a nice stretch in the back of the leg. Breathe. Nice deep breath. One more breath. And then lifting the torso, bend that knee, come back to that kneeling lunge. I want you to take the left block, the left hand, and you might even put that block on the outside edge of your mat. So when you lean over with your hand on the block, your shoulder ends up right over your wrist. Take your right toes and pivot on the heel and turn those toes out a bit. I'm going to push down on the right knee with the right hand. Another twist here. Staying there, or maybe that right arm reaches up towards the sky. Heart lifts, gaze lifts. Breathe into wherever you feel this. Now as you exhale, unwind, adjust that foot so the toes point forward again. Move the blocks, come to table. Do any movements here that might feel good. You can circle around, a couple cat-cow. And then come to table and we'll take the second side. Spread your fingers wide, push the mat away. Reach out with the left leg. Start on the big toe edge and then roll to the little toe edge like you're gluing the sole of your foot to the floor. Come up on your fingertips. Walk on the fingertips until you can stand on your right knee. Take your left hand, palm up. Swing your right arm up. We're going to fold over here to the left. No pressure on this leg. That hand just glides down the leg. Root down through the right knee, and at the same time, you're reaching from that place up and over, breathing into these right ribs. Tuck your chin, look under your right arm, maybe even lean back just a wee bit. 2 more breaths. Now look down as you swing both arms up. Keep the legs like they are. Bring the hands back down, wrists under shoulders. I'm going to reach back with my left hand behind my left knee. Pull that knee forward, lining my foot up with my hip. Bring those blocks back. Adjust the blocks so you can press down and lift your torso a little bit off of that thigh, lengthening through the spine. Now take your hands to your knees, rise up. Kneeling lunge, bring your hands to heart. Now push the hands together, lift the elbows, drop the shoulders. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, right elbow comes over here to the left knee. And maybe you just stay here in this nice gentle twist, or maybe you can really lay that upper arm down on your thigh. Push the top hand into the bottom, drawing the heart towards the thumbs. Feel the wobbles. That's good for your balance. Inhale, coming back up. And let's lift the prayer here. Lift the gaze, a wee bit of a back bend. On your exhale, hands to heart, and then finding the blocks again. Bringing the blocks to the highest setting, extending the left leg out long. Onto the heel, help it out if you need to. Draw the toes towards the shin. Drag the heel towards you without letting it move. Feel that engagement, that stretch in the back of the legs. As you inhale, long spine. Exhale, folding from the hip, floating forward and down any amount. Breathe into the back body now. One more breath. Now inhale, slide that leg back to the mat. And we're going to take the right block and the right hand probably off of the mat. I've got a long mat here so I can teach from two different perspectives. But take the left hand to the knee and we're going to turn the toes out a bit. My right shoulder's over my right wrist. Left hand, push it down on that left knee. Turn the heart to the left. Maybe you stay there, or maybe you swing that left arm up. Lifting the heart, lifting the gaze, coming into this nice twist. 2 more breaths. And now unwinding, adjust the foot so the toes point forward. Lay both of the blocks off of the mat. Find child's pose or happy puppy. And rest. Let it all go. And maybe ask yourself here, has anything changed since you started this brief practice here? Has anything changed? Two more breaths. On your next inhale, press into table. And I'm going to bring you to your belly. So keeping the hands here on the mat. My hips are already up in the air. I want you to bend your elbows and slowly lower the chest down to the mat and then straighten those legs. Keep the hands right by your armpits. Elbows are close to the ribs and may even point up a little like grasshopper legs. Tuck your chin and bring your forehead to the mat. Feel your pubic bone underneath you here, and I want you to draw the pubic bone up towards the low ribs, engaging the core. And with the hands stuck to the mat, just like our heel was earlier, I want you to pull those hands towards your hips. Feel that. Scoot your heart forward. When your heart can't go any further forward, lift it and let your head follow. Keep your low ribs on the mat. Unfurl your head last, baby cobra. Exhale, come back down. Let's do 2 more like that. As you inhale, pull the hands towards the hips. The heart comes forward and lifts. And the head unfurls last. 1 more. Forehead comes down. On your inhale, coming up into a little back bend. Baby cobra, feel the back work. The back is part of your core. And now as you exhale, come down. We're going to bring the hands so they stack one on top of the other. The forearms are parallel with the top edge of your mat. Bring your forehead to your hands. Separate your legs here a little bit into crocodile. Bend your knees and windshield wiper the shins, releasing any tension that's left in the low back after a little back bend. Now float the shins down And 3 breaths here to rest. Let it go. Find your way back to table. And in table, let's do a few cat-cow. Remember, cow is the back bend. Cat is arching the back. How about one more each way? Always feels good to move the spine. Coming to a neutral spine, cross your ankles and then push your bottom back behind your heels and come to a seated position. I'm going to scoot towards the top edge of the mat and bend my knees quite a bit here. My legs are parallel. My feet are flexed, toes point up. I can feel those sits bones underneath me. I'm going to bring my arms forward so the palms face each other. Now roll those little fingers towards each other. Feel that drop your shoulders. Lift your arms. And then let the hands face each other again. Don't bring your arms clear up to your ears. Bring your hands together. Look at your thumbs. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, come forward with that prayer. And then release the prayer. Bring the hands to the shins. Could even be to the thighs to fold forward. Maybe you can reach your toes. This should not feel like a strain in the low back. So if you're all rounded here, don't go so far. And then once you're here, maybe you can straighten the legs a bit, getting a little more sensation in the backs of the thighs. It's called Dandasana, and we've moved now into Paschimottanasana. 2 more breaths here. Now inhale, coming back up. Swing your arms up this time. Roll little fingers towards each other. Maybe those arms will come way up there by the ears. Bring the hands back together and exhale the hands home to the heart. Bring your hands behind your knees. Bend your knees as you bring the soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet are together. Your feet can be a good distance away from your hips here. Flexibility in these seated poses vary from person to person. Blocks, blankets can be helpful here. In this shape, oftentimes the knees really don't want to open very wide. So supporting them with blocks can be helpful. I like to take my ankles, pull on my ankles a bit to lengthen through the spine. Maybe this is where you stay. Or maybe you fold forward here a bit, kind of leading with the heart space to avoid rounding the low back. And notice where you notice the sensation and send the breath there. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. 2 more breaths. You can use your fingertips here to help you sit back up. I'm going to move my blocks. I'm going to take my left hand to my left knee, take my right hand behind me. I'm going to stack the left knee on the right, coming into a nice gentle twist here. I always think I look like a mermaid when I do this, so it's like a nice little mermaid twist. Then come back through center, back through Baddha Konasana. We'll take the second side. Right knee gets a helping hand by the right hand. Left hand comes behind you. Stack the knees. Look over the shoulder. And then come back to center. And from here, option to bring the legs out wide. Now the knees may need to stay bent here, and that's okay. Or maybe the legs can straighten. Sit tall. Your spine tells you where to stop. If you need to straighten the legs or keep a little bend. If by straightening the legs, the back goes like this, bend the knees until the back doesn't. I'm going to start with my knees bent like this. My feet are flexed. Toes are coming towards my shins. Swing your arms up high here, roll those little fingers towards each other, and then reach forward. Flexibility varies a lot here. Maybe your arms stay straight. Maybe just sitting up tall is all you can do. But see if you can fold forward into this. Maybe working to straighten those legs any amount. You can take your hands out on your shins And like you're pulling your shin bones out of your ankles. So pull on those ankles and let that pull you forward a bit. Breathe. Now once again, bring the hands to the mat, the fingertips to the mat. Bend the knees. Bring the legs long once again, Dandasana. Arms forward, little fingers face each other. Palms face each other, little fingers roll towards each other, and bring your arms up. Bring the hands together. Reach with the prayer and then release. Take whatever you can take, your shins, your thighs, your feet, coming into this fold and moving through the hip creases. So not rounding to get here, moving through the hip creases. The sensation will be in the thighs and not in the low back. 2 more breaths. Now inhale, rise up. Lie down on the mat. I'm going to switch my mats here so you can see a little better. And as you lie down on the mat, keep your knees bent. And at first, just arrive in this shape. Notice how different it feels. We've changed our orientation to gravity. The breath feels different in this shape. Just notice. With the soles of the feet on the mat, walk your heels a little closer to your glutes. Take your hands to your sides, roll the palms so they face down. And your fingers might even be able to touch your heels, but at least reach in that direction to get a feel for the heels working their way up. Now lift one shoulder at a time and tuck your shoulder blades. So lift and tuck. So the shoulder blades become more like hands supporting your lungs and your heart. As you inhale, push into the feet, push into the hands, push the knees away and lift the hips. Bridge pose. Feel a nice stretch in the front of the thighs, the quadriceps. As you exhale, lower the hips. Let's do 2 more like this. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. 1 more. Inhale, lift. Let's hold this one. Keep breathing. Lift the back of your head and tuck your chin. Then lay your head down again. Bend your elbows and the palms of the hands now face each other right across your hip points. Push into your elbows, maybe lift a little higher. Breathe. On your next exhale, come down slowly. The arms can release, the low back comes to the mat. Draw your knees to your chest here and do some gentle circling through the thighs, massaging the back. And reverse the direction of the circles. We always end our practice with a period of relaxation, and you'll hear the term Shavasana. That term is often used to describe this period of time, but it really translates into a pose. It's called corpse pose, and you look like a corpse. The legs are long and separated a bit, left and right edges of the mat, so those toes can roll outward, the hips can open up. Again, maybe you need to tuck those shoulder blades again. The palms can face upward now, and the arms can be away from the hips, allowing for the shoulders to soften and open. If the low back doesn't like this, feel free to bend your knees. Keeping the feet wide, left and right edges, drop the knees together. Once you've found your shape, where you feel at ease. So no effort here, at ease. Inhaling and exhaling, return to the breath. The eyes can stay open, or maybe there's an invitation to close the eyes. Do that if that calls to you. Noticing as the breath settles to hardly a whisper. Still awareness of the gentle movement of the muscles as you breathe. We'll lie here for a moment or two in relaxation. I will stop talking. If your mind wanders, it will. Just notice when it does and bring your awareness back to the breath. And begin to deepen your breath. Do nothing more. Feeling the movement in the body as the breath deepens. Invite that breath into your toes and into your fingers, and let that breath invite some movement there in small ways. And let the movement expand into other places, your wrists, your ankles, your knees. Just start to move in whatever way feels good to you. And if you practice with me, you know I like a good morning stretch, reaching long, full body, maybe even a yawn. And then exhale those knees to the chest again. Move here through the hips. You can circle or just gentle swaying from elbow to elbow. Just move a bit. Finding your way to your right side, resting your head on your arms, stacking your knees. And maybe the eyes open and close a few times here. And when you're ready to sit up, reach long with the top leg, press your hands down into the floor, and use as little effort as possible to bring yourself back to a seated position. So that was fun. I haven't done that in a while, but I've got to get some of those tweaks out. The music and my yoga slide, my opening slide, I guess. I have a couple on there, and they didn't seem to want to come up. So I hope this translated well to a little video for you to enjoy over the holidays. There are others. Just go down the playlist. I have several different kinds of things. Intermediate yoga, level 1, level 2 is probably my most populated playlist, but I do have beginner. I think there's some gentle yoga. I know there's chair yoga. I am going to record another chair yoga probably tomorrow. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave me a comment. Hit the like button, just like everybody says on YouTube. Subscribe, all those good things. Let's reach up one more time together. Exhale your hands home to your heart. May you have peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste. Thank you so much.